Now, when I first opened Plasticity, I was just blown away. Now, this was probably partly to do with the fact that, with the exception of SketchUp, I'd only ever really used poly modelers before and sculpting software. So the things that I found hard to do with those software were very easy in Plasticity. The second reason was to do with the user experience. Now, I watched one single tutorial and I was comfortable enough to start modeling in Plasticity, which can't be said for things like ZBrush. So it was really a great feeling, and that really hasn't subsided. Now, with every update up until now, I feel like the creator of Plasticity, Nick, has only added features that extrapolate and improve on that original design. Now, as a kind of Christmas present, the Plasticity team have released a redesigned UI that's currently in beta for an upcoming release of Plasticity that'll be early next year, from what I can tell. Now, I think it looks fantastic, but moreover, it improves on quite a lot of things. So let's dive in and have an overview, a first look at this redesign of some of the new and improved features, and then let's talk about the future of Plasticity and where it's going and where it could go. So if you've got a studio license, you can access this new UI right now, and it's in the Unstable Releases tab on the Plasticity Discord. And if you're looking to try Plasticity, there's a 30 days free trial. And then if you want to buy it after that, you can use the code REFUGE10 to get a 10% discount off of any Plasticity license. You get a discount and I get a small commission, which helps out the channel. Now, there's an indie license that for the vast majority of people, it has all the tools one would ever need. And then you've got the studio license, which features extra powerful tools for professionals like the X-Nerbs, and it also has access to the beta program, which is great for people like me who like to tinker with the experimental features like this early UI redesign before things get released. Now, let's crack into it. The first thing that you'll notice is that the toolbar is now on the left, which is in line with where Blender's toolbar is. So if you're a Blender user like me, that just makes sense. The second thing you'll notice is that right hand panel has completely vanished and it's been replaced with these collapsible tabs, okay? And they've got all of these different things, and they've exposed some things like the field of view here. You used to have to, it was sort of hidden, you used to have to right click on this orthographic perspective button to access the field of view, but now we can change our field of view. We can, you know, get some perspective, right? Or we can go right up and have that. So that's really nice. So that's like sort of like, you know, been unhidden, which is cool. I like to sort of work at a 35 field of view. Now, there's a few more features. So if we go to render mode, and we've got all of our, you know, our standard matte caps, and then you got all your custom matte caps, and quick plugin for my plugin. I made a plugin for Blender called Matte Caps Forever, where you can make lots of custom matte caps like the ones that you see here. I use it all the time for various purposes, and you can get that on my Blender Market and my Gumroad. Alright, moving on. With some of these matte caps like this one here, you can actually now alter them to change the angle on this one, and with this one you can change the amount of bars on this one here, so you can get like just a better view of the curvature really. So that's really cool, and that's new. Now the bottom menu here, this has had a little bit of a redesign as well. We've got our F menu, our search menu here, and we've got our you know, our favorites up here now still, and it was missing from the alpha, but now in the beta it's back. But you can still press F to, you know, bring that up anywhere on the screen. And also, like, let's just turn our edges on, and let's turn our floor on. You now have this 3 dots menu, and you can see all of the highlighted commands are the ones that you can use, which is really great. Now, material mode, if we go into render mode, has had a massive overhaul. So let's just turn our base off. You can see there's a shadow here now, and there's some new material options. So if we click on material, we've got this iridescence and iridescence IOR, so we can really mess around with that, and I think that looks cool. And I think this just looks so much cooler than before. It is still using the same HDRI as before, but with these new features you can mitigate some of the jank that was present with that before, because I don't know if he's put it as a higher res one. Like if we bring this roughness down, I think it might be higher res than before, because it used to be really aliased and horrible looking, but it looks great now, so that's cool. Now as well, to the right of the outliner here, we've got our solids and everything here. There's this new asset menu. Now I'm pretty sure it's a placeholder for now, but you can see it's going to have different materials. You can create a new material, and then it's got this thing that says plastic, metal, wood and glass. So who knows what that's going to look like, but this is, you can't do anything with this right now, so it's there, and we'll see how that comes to fruition. Now there's another cool new feature, which is if we select like two faces like this, and you've got this cross section, we can get a cross section. Maybe it's nice to look at a different matte cap when we do this, but if we can see, we can get this cross section out, we can now go inside our model, which is a lot easier than, you know, previously you would sort of have to, let's turn our cross section off. Okay, you know, you'd have to rotate around and try and zoom in, and then like rotate inside, and then you'd get lost, and you'd have to go back in and try and go back in, and then you're eventually in the middle. I just think this ability to do this is just great, because there's so many instances when you're making something that is I just want, maybe you want to get rid of that or whatever, you know, you can just now go inside your model with this cross section. I don't really know if there's any other controls that I'm missing on this, but it would be cool to be able to like drag it back and forth or something. But that is cool. That is a really nice addition. Now for some quality of life stuff, there's some new preferences. So if we just pull out a line up here, so if we go into our preferences, you'll be able to see that we can actually increase the size of vertices. I can't double click on that to change the number manually, which is annoying, but we can get these big vertices, and we can also make our edges fatter. Okay, so I think that's really cool to have fat edges. On this model not so much, but like let's say that we're like just working on like a box, and we've got our, let's make them even fatter. Right, let's just make 5 pixel fat. Okay, so we got this box. Let's go into material mode and give this a cool material. Let's just give it like a yellow roughness. Alright, and then give it some iridescence or whatever, and let's say we're just working on this, but see how these fat edges, you can see exactly what's going on, and you know, we could, right, we're just getting some cool shapes. But like, I just think that, you know, working like this with these new materials, like you don't just have to be in matte cap mode. You can set up a material like kind of like you would in ZBrush to like work on your model in that way, or you know, without having a custom matte cap, you can kind of turn your material into a matte cap on the fly, which is cool. So clearly, you know, this is like beta, so there's like these asset thing here. It's not fully in use yet, it's not fully working yet, but it's showing you where it is going. Now the redesign in my eyes is great, as it isn't changing anything too drastically, but it's definitely reducing clicks, and exposing parameters that were previously concealed. It also looks great and the materials look great. The UI itself is beautiful, and we make beautiful things, so being able to visualize them in a good looking work environment, arguably for me, is crucial. That's why I like Blender so much, because it's slick, you know. Now I can't wait to see what the fully implemented material system would look like. On top of that, plans for the future of plasticity, like from what I can tell, include a multi viewport layout, which has been in the works for ages as far as I can tell, an asset browser, I assume both for the materials like you have over here, but also hopefully for CAD objects, and also polymeshes and images for reference. Curvature combs are on the way. Now, if I was to have a Christmas wish list for plasticity, what would I like to see? So what would I like to see? I would like to see custom HDRIs implemented, so you can bring in your own HDRIs, but I will settle just for more than the one HDRI. I'd like some outdoor ones, some indoor ones, some more studio lights. I'd like to see a handful, possibly 6 or so, but also just the ability to use your own. I'd also like to see some kind of screen space ambient occlusion, right? And a screen space curvature, so we can better visualize certain aspects of our mesh, and I'd like that to work in both matte cap mode and material mode and render mode. I love the new shadows, but I would like the ability to control the fall off angle and sharpness of the shadows. That would be great. And maybe, just maybe, the ability to apply custom triplanar texture maps to the objects within plasticity. So anyway, that's just my like first little thoughts or whatever, looking at this UI. I'll probably do another video on some of the beta features in the near future. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Tschüss!